Now, why this person decided to come at me and challenge me to respond to his video, I don't know. He obviously thinks that he made some type of extraordinarily strong argument in his video, but as you will see, he did not do that. His video is poorly made. The information is poor, and so I'm going to take him up on his challenge, and I'm going to basically refute and destroy the arguments that he presented. Let us begin.
Okay. When Moonwatch isn't complaining about Islamophobia, the person of the site, trying to equate Islamophobia with racism numerous times.
Okay, let's start right there. Now, he's talking about this particular website known as Moonwatch, which deals with attacks and refutes attacks against Muslims, right? And he's talking about how the site equates Islamophobia with racism. True, Islamophobia is a form of racism. When you look at the so-called anti-Muslim bigots, you'll notice that their arguments do stem from a racist type of position. You notice that these people are anti-immigrant. They don't want Muslim immigrants in their country. When you are anti-immigrant, this is a form of racism. You will notice that these people seem to think that Muslims have a particular look to them, and so they try to single out people who have this particular look. This is due to racism. You will see that they make claims about Muslims having children and how this is going to overrun Europe and overrun America because Muslims are having babies. These are all arguments of racism. So indeed, Islamophobia is equivalent to a form or type of racism, white supremacy. Yes, it is.
Or supporting the Prime Minister of Turkey who's trying to turn back everything Ataturk worked for.
Okay, and here, I don't know why he mentions this, but he makes some comment about them supporting the Prime Minister of Turkey who's trying to turn back the things that Ataturk did. Do you know who Ataturk is, young man? Ataturk was a tyrant. Ataturk was a tyrannical, dictatorial leader who took over Turkey and was very repressive of his own people. He was so adamant in his attempt to try to basically destroy Islam that he did things that you supposedly as a Westerner would be against. He was against religious freedom. He was against the religious expression, but against that of Muslims. So I'm always shocked when I see so-called Westerners support people who would normally they wouldn't support, but they support them when they're in when these people have an agenda against Islam, even though they're doing things that normally they would abhor and think that they were against human rights. But when they do it against Muslims, oh, it's perfectly fine. So Ataturk's agenda, so-called things, should be turned back.
They decided to take a swipe at Jesus by saying that at the end of time he kills people. Well, that's true. Jesus said he's the good shepherd, and says the good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. A shepherd needs to protect his sheep from people. On another note, since sheep can protect themselves from other animals, this I believe gives the biblical justification for self-defense, but I digress.
Okay, yes, it's correct. In the book of Revelation, and Christians know this, it speaks of Jesus returning with an army. He's not coming with an army to protect the sheep. He's coming with the army to start war. There's a difference between the good shepherd who protects his sheep from an attacking wolf, as opposed to you being the attacker. So when Jesus returns, according to the book of Revelation, he comes with an army to make war. He's not protecting, he's starting war on those nations and people who have rejected him. So your good shepherd comparison doesn't work here, because you mentioned protection and self-defense. He's not coming for self-defense. He's coming to start the war himself, as it says in Revelation. He comes with an army to make war, not to defend against a war, but to make the war, to start the war himself. So sorry, you're wrong, and the article that you mentioned is correct. Jesus does return to kill people in the end days.
However, to get the meaning of the passage, replace sheep with people, shepherd with Jesus, and people with Satan's minions. However, since Jesus is all-powerful, he would defeat Satan. The Muslims will say, if you're a Christian, you have to do everything Jesus did, and therefore you have to kill people. But Romans 12:19 says, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord. The Muslims will again say, you have to do everything Jesus does. We should, but there are certain things that only Jesus can do. Take the crucifixion, for example. If I were hung on a cross tomorrow, would it provide salvation to the whole world? Of course not. Only Jesus can do that.
You mentioned this verse in Romans where it says, take not revenge. But the Bible, we see examples in the Bible where God has or gives orders for his people, the Israelites, to take revenge. To take revenge on the Midianites, to take revenge on the Canaanites, to attack various other peoples. So this doesn't apply correctly. This is clearly some type of contradiction here. The other thing about the your example of the crucifixion, even Jesus, what are you talking about? Even Jesus can't take the sins away of the world either. The Bible already told you that in Ezekiel that all you have to do is turn from your wicked ways and you shall surely live, you shall not die. You don't need Jesus to die for you. He didn't have to die for you. He didn't die for you. There was no need for it. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, you are already told that all one has to do is turn from your wicked ways. You turn, not Jesus. If you turn from your wicked ways, you shall surely live. You shall not die.
Back to the Muhammad's view. Assuming Muhammad wrote the Quran, which everyone who isn't Muslim believes, this means all the verses that call for jihad against the infidels must be carried out. Nowhere did Jesus command his followers to kill.
First of all, what are you talking about, all these commands for jihad? The Quran, throughout the Quran is talking about fighting back in self-defense. Chapter 2, verse 190 says, fight back against those who fight you, but do not be the aggressor. Okay? That's what it says. So there's no all these calls for jihad. The Quran talks about fighting in self-defense. The Quran mentions fighting back on behalf of people who are being oppressed. The Quran makes it a matter of fact clear that there's no command to fight all non-believers. In chapter 60, verse 8, it says, as long as the people are not trying to fight you or drive you from your homes, that you're supposed to be peaceful with these people. You be kind to these people and be equitable to these people. For surely Allah loves those who do justice. So you're wrong about that. And then you said that Jesus never commanded his followers to kill anybody. Excuse me, sir. Do you not know Luke 19:27, where Jesus says, all those who refuse his reign, bring them here and kill them in front of Jesus. So you got to get your facts right.
Now let's examine who Jesus thinks is guilty and who Muhammad does. In Revelations 21:8, Jesus says, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the adulterers, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. Now, all these offenses are also considered sins in Islam, so Muslims would agree with this. However, in Muhammad's view, anyone who leaves Islam or refuses to convert or become a dhimmi must be killed.
Wrong. That's not Muhammad's view. Muhammad's view is what the Quran tells him. In the Quran, nowhere does it say that if you leave Islam, that you are to be killed. Nowhere does the Quran teach Muhammad, or does Muhammad teach that if you refuse to convert to Islam that you have to be killed. That's a lie. Nowhere does the Quran teach that if you refuse to become a dhimmi, which for those who don't know, a dhimmi is a person who is a non-Muslim citizen in an Islamic state or country, right? Nowhere does it say that you have to, that you're ordered, that they have to be killed if they refuse to become a dhimmi either. So your information is, as I told you before on Twitter, your information is wrong. It's false, my friend. You're repeating the bigoted lies that haters of Islam spread, and they're just not true. So I repeat, nowhere does Muhammad believe that you have to die for those reasons. So you're wrong. Your information is just totally false and wrong, as I told you on Twitter before. The Quran makes it very clear in chapter 2, verse 256, that there's no compulsion in religion. You can't force anybody to become Muslim. There are many verses in the Quran that instruct Muhammad that if people refuse to hear what he has to say, or they reject him, or they turn away, he's told his job is only to deliver the message. He has not been made a guardian over them. So that right there refutes your claim that Muhammad believes that if you refuse to accept Islam, or that if you leave Islam, you're supposed to die. The Quran says no. If they turn away, if they reject you, your job is only to deliver the message. You have not been made a guardian over them. There's over a dozen verses that say that he has not been made a guardian over them. And if they refuse him, or if they turn away, his job is only to deliver the message. There's no compulsion in religion. You cannot force people to accept Islam. So I'm sorry, your information is just wrong and correct. And I told you that already. So I don't know why you challenged me. You know that when I bring my arguments are thorough, young man. You shouldn't have came with that challenge like that.
whose sense of justice do you think is better, Muhammad's or Jesus's?
Well, it's clear. I think that what Muhammad brought from the Quran's sense of justice is better, because Jesus is the teachings, if they are really the teachings of Jesus, they're not a sense of justice. Turning the other cheek when people are trying to murder you, when people are trying to steal from you, to take your land, turning the other cheek is not justice. Turning the other cheek, for example, will allow rapists, killers, thieves to get away with crime. So every time somebody tries to hurt you, you turn the other cheek, and then they take your land. You turn the other cheek, they murder you, they murder your family, they take your property. You keep turning the other cheek, criminals will have the run of the place. That's not a sense of justice. Islam says stop those people from doing the evil. That's justice. You see, that's justice. Loving your enemy. Animals don't even love their enemy. Imagine you loving your enemy when the tiger's trying to eat you. You see, not even in the animal world do they have such a foolish teaching. You see, there are some people that are evil and murderers. How can you sit around and love your enemy while they're trying to kill you? Once again, that's not a sense of justice. And this is why Christians, they don't even practice that nonsense. That's why you see every Christian nation, that's why they have police officers who carry guns. That's why they have a military. That's why they have a jail. That's why some countries have death penalty or some type of punishment, because they don't even believe in that nonsense. They understand that's not a sense of justice. You cannot turn the other cheek on a criminal who's trying to murder you or rob from you. You cannot love your enemy, because your enemy is murderous and evil and he's trying to get rid of you. If you love him, love is not going to do nothing. Look at Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was peaceful. He loved his enemy. His enemy still killed him. That's not a sense of justice. So to me, in your question, the sense of justice, who has a better sense of justice, is that which Islam teaches. Islam teaches that you must put in check evildoers, or if you don't, they will run over you. They will have the run of the place. If there's no police officers, criminals will do as they please, and the weak people will be victims of the criminals. That's why you have to have checks and balances. So to me, the better sense of justice comes from Islam, not from turning the other cheek and loving your enemy and giving them your cloak and giving them more if they steal from you. That's not a sense of justice. That's letting criminals have the run of the place. No one wants that.